Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we represent the games that released on March 2020. Please click like button and subscribe for more videos. Doom Eternal. Doom Eternal is a first-person shooter video game in a sci-fi and horror universe released on March 20, 2020. The game is developed by id Software and published by Bethesda Softworks. It is available on Windows, PlayStation 4, Xbox One and Stadia. It will be released at a later date on Nintendo Switch. The game is the continuation of the reboot of the Doom series released in 2016. The player embodies the human Doomslayer with considerable strength and armor forged in hell. The Doomslayer is sent back to Earth following the events of Doom to repel the invasion of the demons of the underworld. With the help of an arsenal of varied weapons, the player is brought to surpass himself in nervous fights, which require to be constantly in motion, and to have a management of the ammunition and the life forcing the aggressiveness, forging the dynamic gameplay that was the reputation of the previous opus. The music of the game by Mick Gordon is particularly acclaimed by the press and the players. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Final Fantasy VII Remake is a video game developed by Square Enix Business Division 1 and published by Square Enix. This is a remake of the Final Fantasy VII game released on PlayStation and PC in 1997. After presenting a technical demo of the game to promote the power of PlayStation 3 at E3 2005, Square Enix repeatedly refutes any project remake, but finally announced one on PlayStation 4 at the Electronic Entertainment Expo 2015 on June 15, 2015, during the conference of the manufacturer Sony. The game is developed in episodic format, and the first part was released on April 10, 2020. The story takes place in the cyberpunk and dystopian metropolis of Midgar. The players take control of the mercenary Cloud Strife, while he and an eco-terrorist group known as Avalanche oppose the Shinra Electric Power Company, a powerful company which uses the essence of life on the planet, Mako, as a source of energy. Final Fantasy VII Remake partly tells the story of Final Fantasy VII. The players control Cloud Strife, a former Shinra soldier who has become a mercenary and who has joined the eco-terrorist group Avalanche in order to fight this powerful organization, which drains the vital energy of the planet, the Mako. Like the original game, the existence of materials that equip themselves on weapons and armor allow characters to access magic or certain skills, but also summons. Both the exploration and combat mechanisms take place in real time. The game offers a modified ATB, active time battle, bar system compared to the original, which gradually fills. Once it is filled, the player can stop the action and use special abilities such as magic, objects and skills specific to each character. A magic point gauge, MP, can arrive at a stage called Transcendence, which allows the characters to make special and more powerful items charge. Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Ori and the Will of the Wisps is a platform adventure Metroidvania video game developed by Moon Studios and published by Xbox Game Studios for Xbox One and Microsoft Windows. Announced during E3 2017, the title is a direct sequel to 2015's Ori and the Blind Forest and was released on March 11, 2020. The game is a 4K UHD, Xbox One X enhanced and Xbox Play Anywhere title. The game was developed by Moon Studios, a collective organization without a set location. The game's visuals were given an overhaul from the two-dimensional artwork in Blind Forest to the three-dimensional models played in multi-layered backgrounds in Will of the Wisps. The game maintains narrative continuity with Blind Forest and introduces new melee combat. Upon release, the game received universal acclaim for the Xbox One version and favorable reviews for the Microsoft Windows version, with players and critics praising the game's visuals, improved combat, elements of exploration, environments, chase sequences, and soundtrack. However, criticism was aimed at technical issues such as frame rate issues and visual bugs, which were largely resolved with a Day 1 patch. Ori and the Will of the Wisps is a two-dimensional platform game in which the player embodies Ori, a white deer spirit. The combat system of the previous opus is revised, in particular by the addition of weapons that Ori can carry. Moon Studios claims to have studied and been inspired by games released after Ori and the Forest, such as Hollow Knight or Axiom Verge. Half-Life, Alyx. Half-Life Alyx is a 2020 virtual reality, VR, first-person shooter developed and published by Valve. Set between the events of Half-Life, 1998, and Half-Life 2, 2004, players control Alyx Vance on a mission to seize a superweapon belonging to the Alien Combine. Players use VR to interact with the environment and fight enemies, using gravity gloves to manipulate objects, similarly to the gravity gun from Half-Life 2. Traditional Half-Life elements return, such as physics puzzles, combat, exploration and survival horror aspects. The last Half-Life game, Episode 2, was released in 2007. After abandoning plans for a third Half-Life episode, Valve began experimenting with VR in the mid-2010s, recognizing the demand for a large-scale VR game. They experimented with prototypes using their various IP, such as Portal, and found that Half-Life Alyx entered full production using Valve's new Source 2 engine in 2016, with the largest team in Valve's history. Alyx was released for Windows on March 23, 2020, with support for most PC-compatible VR headsets. It received acclaim for its graphics, voice acting, writing, and atmosphere. It has been cited by some as VR's first killer app. Valve released a subsequent Linux version of game on May 15, 2020, along with Vulkan rendering support for both platforms. Nioh 2. Nioh 2 is an action RPG developed by Team Ninja. A prequel to Nioh, 2017, the game was released for the PlayStation 4 on March 13, 2020, where it was published by Koei Tecmo in Japan and Sony Interactive Entertainment worldwide. Similar to its predecessor, Nioh 2 is an action RPG. Players can create their own playable character, who is an Imkai spirit. Players are equipped with a variety of weapons such as Adachi and Kusarigama, and earn new skills as they progress in the game. When players defeat a hostile Imkai, some of them may drop a soul core. They allow players to use Imkai abilities and transform into a Imkai after being deposited in a shrine. At locations named Benevolent Graves, players can summon other players, controlled by artificial intelligence, to assist them in combat. The game also features a 3-player cooperative multiplayer mode. Call of Duty Warzone. Call of Duty Warzone is a free-to-play battle royale video game released on March 10, 2020, for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. The game is a part of the 2019 title Call of Duty Modern Warfare but does not require purchase of it. Warzone was developed by Infinity Ward and Raven Software and published by Activision. Warzone allows online multiplayer combat among 150 players set in the fictional city of Verdansk, which is loosely based on Donetsk city in eastern Ukraine, on day 96 of operation. The game features both cross-platform play and cross-platform progression between both games. The game features 2 main modes: Plunder and Battle Royale. Warzone introduces a new in-game currency system called Cash, which is used at buy stations in and around Verdansk. Loadout drops are an example of where cash can be traded for limited access to players' custom classes, which are shared with Modern Warfare's standard modes. Players may also use cash to purchase items such as killstreaks and gas masks. At launch, Warzone allowed a squad capacity of 3. A solo mode was added to Warzone a week later on March 17, 2020. 4-player quads were added to the game on April 8, 2020, as part of the Season 3 update. In May 2020, Activision announced that Warzone had surpassed over 60 million downloads in the first 2 months. Bleeding Edge. Bleeding Edge is a multiplayer online combat video game being developed by British developer Ninja Theory and published by Xbox Games Studios for Xbox One and Microsoft Windows. The game launched on March 24, 2020. A technical alpha test was announced to begin on June 27, 2019, for those who have signed up via the Bleeding Edge website. There are 12 characters to choose from, most of which have melee attacks, with some of them having range attacks. All characters are one of 3 classes: damage, support, or tank. There are 3 bars for different abilities that go down when the player uses an ability connected to it. Each ability has its own cooldown period as well. Mount and Blade 2, Bannerlord. Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlord is a strategy action role-playing video game developed by Tailworlds Entertainment. It is a prequel to Mount and Blade. Warband, a standalone expansion pack for the 2008 game Mount and Blade. Bannerlord takes place 210 years before its predecessor, with a setting inspired by the migration period. Bannerlord was announced in 2012. A Steam page for the game was created in late 2016. The following year, Tailworlds began releasing weekly developer diaries detailing elements of the game. An early access version of the game was released on March 30, 2020, and quickly became the largest launch of the year on Steam, achieving more than 200,000 concurrent players. A version for unspecified consoles is planned. Thanks guys for watching our video. Clicking a like button is the best way you can help us to show your appreciation. We'd really be grateful for that. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos. We'll see